I've logged into redcomponent.com, where I'm going to take a look at their product list and find redMigrator. This page offers their services, but it also offers their tools absolutely free. So you say Add to Cart, view the cart, checkout, and if you have an account with them, you can fill in your login information and password. If you don't, you're a new customer and you'll need to provide them with some contact information. Proceed to checkout. And no payment method is needed. It's a free download. You do have to accept their terms and conditions. You go to your account and can manage your downloads. They have many free components and modules and so on, so we just have to keep going till we find the one that we're after and download the redMigrator component. It's a package which has instructions for us that we need to unzip it first. So I'll save that file. It's going into my Downloads folder. When I unzip that, I see a folder that has a README file, the component, and the plugin. So this would be a good time to talk about the difference between situations whether you only need the component or whether you need the component and the plugin. Their README file explains it briefly, that there's two methods, a database method and a RESTful method, and the difference comes down to whether or not you have access to your database information on the old site. This would be the database name, the database username, and the database password. Now, if you have a cPanel situation where you can open files, then you would be able to go into your file manager and open up the config file. So I want to be in the old site, and I'm looking for the configuration.php. If you can access that file, then you can find within that the database name, the database username, and the database password. And if that's the case, you don't need to bother installing the plugin. If for some reason you don't have access to these files for the old site, then you'll need to install the plugin and use the RESTful method. If you can get to this for the old site or otherwise have the database information, you do not need the plugin and you can use the database method. So we've downloaded the plugin from their site. We've unzipped it and taken a look at how it has two separate things. And now I want to be in the new Bentonville site and go to Extensions and install by uploading a package. And I'm installing from my download folder the component. Don't try to install the whole zipped package file. You have to unzip that, install the component, go to Components, redMigrator. Notice that it also installed something called redCore. Don't be confused about where that came from. So it looks like you're ready to start the upgrade, but actually we need to go fill in some options. We need to make our choice about the method we're going to use. I do have the database details, so I'll be using the database method, and then I need to say what those database methods are. As in the new, my username and database name are the same, and my password. I'm assuming that the old database prefix was JOS. it almost always was, that would have been available to me through that, looking at that configuration file. So once I've set my global choice of which of these to use, and I've set my database information of where that old database is. Now this is on the same host, the same server. If you were moving your site from one to another, you might need to configure that a little bit differently, but within a subdomain on the same server, this can just remain localhost. We have the opportunity to set certain skip things. For example, if you knew you were going to be starting over again, or that you didn't use banners or clients for banners or banner tracking, if you hadn't used the contact database, we could say to skip that. If you weren't using news feeds or web links, you could say to skip those things and just tighten up the process a little bit. Another form of cleaning out. Do you want it to maintain your template positions? I'm going to say yes, because I'm going to be migrating my old template in to use. So let's keep modules in those template positions as they were. And I'm going to save and close these configurations, and I'm ready to start my upgrade. It says, if the migration is slow, please be patient. But I've already got a message that the migration was successful. So I can go back to Joomla, and I can go preview my site, which indeed has some content. Now, it's not looking like the old site, and I see some short codes in here for the Ignite gallery, and we're not done, but here in the back end, in my content, in my article manager, I see that all of my articles arrived, including that one that was unpublished, and it stayed in the unpublished form. My categories have been reconfigured, because on the old site I had a section of general and a section of fundraising, and we now have those as nested categories. So this redMigrator tool has taken care of restructuring the data and restructuring the sections and categories.